And I absolutely love Leos. I've dated loads of them. I'll treat them like royalty as long as they make my face their throne. This is Saturn, girl. And my mama Venus is about to change signs again. No, I'm not saying my mama is promiscuous, but she sure does get around the zodiac, doesn't she? This time, Our Lady of Lewd and Lascivious Love will enter Leo on July 11th and remain there until August 4th. This is a big deal. At least for me, I always tend to meet new partners while Venus is in Leo. And you know what my mama says, the more the merrier. But I have to make fun of people with Venus in Leo. They may get possessive of you, but it's more like how they get possessive over a new car. You see, they love to open your hood and put their fluids in you. But your thoughts and feelings are just the owner's manual they never read. Possessive. Yeah. I mean, if you have to break up with one, just wait till they're asleep. Then up and go in the middle of the night. Just leave all your shit there. You'll thank me later. But I love Leo Venus. Probably because I love to be objectified like a new car. I mean, I have that new car smell. And you can use my tailpipe. This is an important transit, though. My mama has fun in Leo. She's sort of like Marsha Brady looking at Virgo Venus like, nice try, Jan. In this video, we're going to talk about the meaning of Venus in Leo and what it means for you personally by doing your horoscopes for the occasion. So you better watch this shit till the end, okay? But first, what does Venus even mean in astrology? She's love, desire, sex, pleasure, enjoyment, nice things, our relationships, not just romantic, but our whole social nature. Leo, on the other hand, is ruled by the sun and therefore has to do with authority, control, visibility, and recognition. You see, the sun is the center of the solar system. So Leo is kind of like the center of its own universe, huh? Now calm down, I'm only half joking. I mean, Leo placements loom large in any chart. And I absolutely love Leos. I've dated loads of them. I'll treat them like royalty as long as they make my face their throne. But what are some key words or phrases for Venus and Leo? Number 1, I think of Alicia Silverstone in the movie Clueless. Remember her character Cher? She may not know what she's on about, but she says it with a lot of confidence. We can totally party with the Haitians. It can also have that Regina George from Mean Girls kind of vibe. Leo Venus wants to be the leader, but she can also be quite stuck up. And don't you dare say fetch around her. It's not a thing. I mean, I was sort of joking about it getting possessive earlier, but there's something to that. Like, I think of Tinkerbell. Remember how red she gets whenever Wendy looks at Peter Pan? Leo is a fixed sign, and they can get fixated on particular people. And they can be very loyal. In fact, they can be so loyal that they won't even let you leave the house. I mean, look at Tom Cruise. He has a Leo Venus, and talk about possessive. He basically held his ex-wife Katie Holmes hostage for years. And get this, Katie Holmes wanted out of the marriage so bad that she agreed to some ridiculous terms in the divorce. For example, she agreed not to embarrass Tom, either by talking shit about him or Scientology. And she agreed not to publicly date anyone for 5 years. I mean, Jesus. Only a Leo Venus could come up with that shit. It's a fun-loving placement, though. My mama in Leo is the life of the party. She enjoys socializing, making jokes, and just being more popular than you. Kind of like one of my Leo Venus mamas, Lindsay Lohan. Speaking of Mean Girls, right? She was totally the life of the party. In fact, I think it was the party that totaled her. Seriously though, some of the kindest and most loving partners I ever had also had a Leo Venus. They can make you feel like you're the only person in the world, like the spotlight is shining right on you. When they shine that spotlight in your face, though, it feels more like an interrogation. Venus in Leo can also be opulent, ostentatious, and ornamental. Coco Chanel, the famous French designer and fashion mogul, had a Leo Venus, and she was known for her ability to bring beauty out of obscurity. Or how about Louis XIV? the famous 18th century French monarch who was also known as the Sun King. I mean, how Leo is that? He even had the famous palace at Versailles built. I mean, the whole place is just dripping with gold. Sort of like an orange creamsicle in the summertime. That was my old nickname. I mean, I'm the perfect lickable treat for Leo season. What does this mean for you? You'll likely be feeling more confident, so take advantage. Be a bit bold. Go out on a limb. Go to parties and restaurants. Dress up. Have fun. Meet new people. Introduce yourself to strangers. If you're an artist or creative in some way, now's the time to be a bit over the top. You may feel like you're on stage during this transit, but don't let the momentary assertiveness go to your head. Otherwise, Venus in Virgo will feel like a hangover. But to see how this affects you personally, we need to do your horoscopes. Now remember, we do these for each rising sign because that's what determines your houses. But if you don't know your rising sign, you can watch for your sun sign. So first, let's look at Aries Rising. For Aries Rising, this means Venus is going into your 5th house of children, fun, and pleasure. Lucky you. This is a time to enjoy yourself. Go out to a concert or a sporting event, or karaoke, or just go dancing. You could even take your kids. If you do have children, your relationship with them will likely be more harmonious, meaning they'll probably listen to you. This is also a great time to take them out to do fun things. But the 5th house is also sex, and Venus rules your 7th house of relationships. So this could also be a time when you meet a new partner. Or you could be like me and meet several new partners. The potential for romantic liaisons is high. But now let's move on to our Taurus Rising Hermes. So for Taurus Rising, this means Venus is going into the 1st house of home, the past, and private life. This is an enjoyable transit too. Perhaps not as loud and promiscuous as the 5th house. But it's about finding pleasure in the peace and quiet of your own space. If your parents are still with us, you'll probably have increased contact with them or reconcile a conflict. Venus rules your 1st house of self as well. So you may get interested in your family history or genealogy. It could also mean history in the past in general. You'll likely get the urge to decorate and make your space feel beautiful. You might want to go check out an antique or consignment store. You may find hidden gems. So make your space feel like you do on the inside. But let's move on to Gemini Rising, our Gemini Rising friends. So for Gemini Rising, Venus is entering the 3rd house of siblings, extended family, and short trips, as well as communication. This is like the diplomatic transit. We clothe our speech in beauty. It unites rather than divides, like Mars in the 3rd house. I think of this a bit like a silver tongue. People may look at you and ask, "What that mouth do?" I'm just kidding, kind of. This can also indicate reconciling with a brother, sister, aunt, uncle, or cousin. You may visit one of them, or one of them may visit you. This can also represent getting out and enjoying your own community, like go hit up a farmer's market. But Venus also rules your 5th house of children. So you could take your kids on a short trip or a staycation in your own city. But let's move on to Cancer, our Cancer Rising Hermes. So for Cancer, this means that Venus is entering your 2nd house of money, possessions, and material success. This is a great place for Venus. She may give you a little bit of luck with your income, like we can get a small raise or a stipend, or maybe a bonus, or increased customers and sales. Venus also rules your 4th house of family, so it could be luck from your parents. You'll undoubtedly have the urge to go shopping as well. Get yourself a few nice things, but don't break the bank. Now, Venus also rules your 11th house of friends and popularity. So take your friends with you. Go to H&M and then treat them to the Cheesecake Factory, perhaps. But anyway, let's move on to our Leo Rising friends. Our Leo Rising Hermes. This means Venus is entering your 1st house of self. Ooh, I like this one. I love Venus in the 1st house. It feels so sparkly and pretty. I feel pretty. Oh, so pretty. I feel pretty and witty and gay. Anyway, this is a transit where we feel attractive and popular. I often meet new partners when Venus is in my first house. Your confidence will be infectious, but don't let yourself get cliquey or be a bully. Remember that cheering on those around you lifts your spirits as well. Venus also rules your 10th house of career and life direction, so this is a great time to sell yourself. If you have a job interview, you'll probably be confident and look quite professional. But let's move on to Virgo Rising, our Virgo Rising Hermes. So for Virgo Rising, this means Venus is going into the 12th house of self-sabotage and mental health. So this transit is all about self-care. This is a time to reduce your stress and to address any self-sabotaging or self-destructive tendencies that have been holding you back from feeling success or your own authenticity. You may have breakthroughs in therapy or even start therapy. You'll be less motivated to go out and socialize, and that's okay. Enjoy your own company. Have some fruitful alone time. Venus also rules your 9th house of spirituality and beliefs. So you can use this time to read some self-help books, or maybe even about philosophy and religion. Learn about managing your mental health and expand your knowledge about other belief systems. But let's move on to Libra Rising, our Libra Rising Hermes. So this puts Venus going into the 11th house of hopes, friends, and popularity. This is a fun and social transit. You may have been way too focused on success and achievement before, and now it's time to relax and let your freak flag fly. I mean, at least a little bit. You'll find yourself getting calls and messages from your homies to hang out or hit the mall. If you produce content of some type, it will be well received, and you'll get a lot of good feedback. Venus also rules your 1st house of self, which can indicate praise or good reviews. Alternatively, if you've had conflicts with friends, you'll get the urge to reconcile and work out your issues. If you do, you'll likely get some good results out of it. You see, this is a transit that makes us feel supported by our peeps and makes us want to support them too. But let's move on to Scorpio Rising, our Scorpio Rising Hermes. This puts Venus going into the 10th house of career, success, and life direction. I always say this is a great time to climb the ladder. You'll get noticed more at work, and maybe even get some well-deserved praise and recognition. This is a time to gussy up your resume and make it look sexy, like me, You'll get along with your bosses and authority figures, and one of them may even present you with new opportunities. You'll have a good reputation, and people will think favorably of you. Venus also rules your 12th house of self-sabotage. So don't let bad habits tarnish this good reputation. She also rules your 7th house, so your partner may have a high profile right now as well. Or you can meet someone at work. Anyway, let's move on to Sagittarius Rising, our Sagittarius Rising Hermes. So for you, this means that Venus is entering the 9th house of spirituality, philosophy, and foreign cultures. This is a wonderful transit because it encourages us to investigate other points of view. This is one of those times where your cup runneth over, as it says in Psalms in the Bible. You'll probably feel more curious about other cultures and beliefs, so allow yourself to explore. Your understanding is expanding, yes? You may even meet a romantic partner interested in these same sorts of things, or from another country or culture. But I always say to allow yourself to become a metaphysician during this time. Sort of like that movie, Don Juan DeMarco, if you've ever seen it. Inquire of yourself, you see. Remember, Don Juan asks 3 questions of himself. He says, what is sacred? Of what is the spirit made? What is worth living for and worth dying for? And the answer to all 3 is love. But anyway, let's move on to Capricorn Rising, Our Capricorn Rising Hermes. This puts Venus going into the 8th house of death, losses, and other people's money. This may not be as fun of a transit as some of the other houses, but it's still quite important. We often get some luck with our money or expenses. You may find that money you owe is decreased in some way, like getting a lower car payment or a lower interest rate. Sometimes we get luck from someone else's losses or misfortune. Someone could owe you money or pay you back. Or there could be a small inheritance. That's kind of rare sometimes, though. But the 8th house also includes investments. So this could be a nice little return or an increase of value. But I also think of Venus in the 8th house as forgiveness. If you've been carrying around some resentment over the past, well, now's the time to address it and make amends. Forgiveness isn't for you. Forgiveness is for you, rather. Forgiveness isn't for other people, it's for you, right? It's about releasing yourself from owing or being owed. We're squaring an emotional debt. Anyway, how about Aqua Rising? Our Aqua Rising Hermes. This is me! And Venus is going into our 7th house of marriages and partnerships. Ooh, I'm excited about this one. I tend to meet new romantic partners while Venus is in Leo, too. I still have a couple positions available if anyone's interested. Anyway, if you're single, you must mingle. And if you're poly, you must mingle. Venus rules your 4th house also, of the home. So make sure to introduce some of these new people to your bedroom, if you know what I mean. Venus also rules your 9th house. So you could also meet a partner or a romantic interest from another country or culture. If you already have a partner, then this is a date night transit for you. This is a time to enjoy your partner's company and do some fun things with them. Rekindle the romance. We have to keep falling in love with each other over and over again because we change as people, don't we? But let's move on to Pisces Rising. So for Pisces Rising, this puts Venus going into your 6th house of work, health, enemies, and obligations. Also pets. Now this isn't a fun house, but it's still a very important transit. Similar to the 12th and the 8th house, it's a bit about self-care. However, this is self-care for the physical body more than your mental health. You've likely been pushing yourself too hard, and now it's time to slow down and take care of yourself. You'll find yourself addressing health issues. For example, you could finally make those doctor's appointments for some condition that hasn't gone away. You could start a new diet or perhaps exercise routine. I always say this is a good transit to develop good sleep habits too. If we don't take care of our bodies, they fall apart. Now, Venus also rules your 8th house. So you may get a break on doctor's bills, or insurance may cover more of it than you expected. So take advantage if this is indeed the case. Well, I hope that was useful. I'm trying to get to 3,000 subscribers on here, so tell your friends how beautiful, brilliant, and hilarious I am. Thank you for watching. Like this video and subscribe to my channel. Please also consider tipping me. You can give through Super Thanks below or use my PayPal link in the description. It helps me keep making such wonderful content. And remember, I do the best readings. It's science. You can book through my website, saturngirl.org, or contact me directly. All my info is below in the description. And remember, I love you. You're beautiful. And have a wonderful whatever it is you're having.